Welcome to the DragonLance Saga Gaming Advanced Dungeons & Dragons episode. This is the second in the Advanced Dungeons & Dragons Monster Manual series. It is Krynn Brook Green the 11th. My name is Adam. Dragonlance came out of Advanced Dungeons & Dragons, so I thought it'd be fun to read the core rules aloud and discuss them with a live audience. I would like to take a moment and thank the DL Saga YouTube members and Patreon patrons and invite you to consider becoming a member or patron. You can even grab Dragonlance Media or get $10 by signing up to startplaying.games using my affiliate links in the description below. Hey, Corey, thanks for tuning in. We left off at cattle. Cattle. Wild. Wild cattle. Oh, hold on. Let me mark my notes. Cattle, wild. Wild cattle roam many wilderness areas, and they are frequently encountered. They are likely to flee any threat, although the males of the herd are likely, 75%, to attack if the intruders came upon the herd before it had a chance to run away, see bull. There's also a 25% chance that the herd of wild cattle will stampede directly at the party. If cattle stampede and there is no cover, rocks, trees, logs, a wall, etc., then roll 2 4-sided dice for each member of the party in the path of the stampede in order to find out how many cattle trample each party member. Trampling causes 1 to 4 hit points of damage per creature trampling. I will just say that is a TPK on first level characters. That's so brutal. Death by cattle trample. Centaur. Centaurs dwell in secluded pastures, far from human habitation. Roving bands of these creatures always carry weapons, and leaders will carry shields. Half of the centaurs in a band will be attacked with armed with oaken clubs equal to morning stars, 1 to 8 or 1 to 6 points damage per attack. 1/4 will have composite longbows and 10 to 30 arrows, 24-inch range. Again, inches is in times 10 in yards, so 240 yards outside or 240 feet inside. 1 to 6 hit points damage per attack, and the remaining quarter will be leaders, armor class 4 with shield and lance, 1 to 8 or 2 to 24 hit points or damage per attack. Leaders will have double treasure. In melee, each centaur attacks 2 times, once with his weapon, and then as a horse with his 2 4 hooves. If centaurs are encountered in their lair, it will be a hidden glen with rich grass and running water. Here there will be found 1 to 6 additional males, females equal to twice the number of males, and young from 5 to 30 in number. Females, 3 hit dice, and young, 1 to 3 hit dice, do not use weapons and will only fight with their hooves. In a life and death situation, if the females are young and threatened, the centaur will likely be 90% likely to ransom them with their main treasure. They speak their own language and that of their alignment. Centaurs are not generally friendly with humans or dwarves. They tolerate gnomes and halflings. They're friendly with elves and like wood elves. Why don't they use their hands? If commoners can use their hands to punch, why can't centaurs use their hands to punch? I would also use my hooves, but I would probably kick someone, run over, pick them up, stand them up, back up, and then kick them again with my other hoof. Being honest. Centipede. Giant. Ugh. Yuck. These nasty creatures are found nearly everywhere. They're aggressive and rush forth to bite their prey, injecting poison into the wound, but in many cases, this poison is weak and not fatal. Add +4 to saving throw die roll. Also, as the centipede is small, it is less likely to resist attacks which allow it a saving throw, -1 on die. Centipedes come in many colors, pale gray to black, red to brown. It's important to note that virtually all first edition poisons just kill you. Just straight up save or die. You have to be very, very specific when it comes to poisons in AD&D. Some poisons will call out that they're weaker than others, giving you a bonus or a minus to your saving throw because of it. But if you don't make your save, you die. That's why it doesn't say or take XDX damage. No, you just die. It's brutal. Cerebral parasite. These creatures are not visible to the human eye and can only be detected psionically by means of careful examination of a person's aura. They can be removed only by a cure disease spell. If a psionically endowed creature comes within 1 inch of cerebral parasites, they will attack, but the attack will be completely unnoted. Therefore, whenever psychic abilities, including attacks or defenses, are used, the parasites will drain additional psychic energy to feed upon. Each parasite will drain 1 energy point. Furthermore, after one has fed upon 6 psionic energy points, it will reproduce another parasite, and thereafter continue to drain energy, as will its offspring. They cannot be psionically attacked. Cerebral parasites inhabit the astral and ethereal planes, as well as the material plane. Wow, that's brutal. Chimera. Yeah, buddy. The Chimera combines features of 3 creatures in a monstrous manner. Its hindquarters are those of a huge goat. Its forepaws are those of a lion. Its body sports dragon wings, and it has 3 large heads. It can claw with its forelegs. Its goat head is armed with 2 long horns. Its lion head has powerful jaws and sharp teeth. And its dragon head is likewise equipped, if a chimera desires. Do you guys say chimera? I always say chimera. 50% chance its dragon head can breathe fire with a range of 5 inches and cause 3 to 24 hit points damage. Saving throw applicable. Chimera speak a very limited form of red dragon language. Description. The goatish body parts are black with amber eyes and yellowish horns. The lion-like parts are tawny, yellow with a dark brown mane, green eyes, and red maw. The dragon wings are brownish black, the dragon head orange, and the eyes and mouth black. Cockatrice. I've never actually fought a cockatrice, except for like in Final Fantasy. Cockatrices are found in temperate to tropical regions, both above and below ground. They can inflict only minor wounds with their beaks, but their touch will turn flesh to stone. Save versus stone or petrified. Note that the petrification aura of this monster extends to both the astral and ethereal planes, and can thus affect creatures in those planes as well. Cf. Basilisk. Description. The serpentine tail of the cockatrice is yellow-green, its feet and beak yellow, its wings are gray, its feathers are golden brown, and its wattles, comb, eyes, and tongue are red. Coatl! Nice. These winged feather serpents are rarely found anywhere except in warm jungle-like regions or flying through the ether. Due to their intelligence and powers, they are regarded with awe by the inhabitants of their homelands and considered to be divine. Coatl rarely interfere in human affairs. They are able to polymorph themselves, and they can use magic. As a 5th level magic user and or 7th level cleric, 45% use magic user spells, 35% clerical spells, 20% use both. In melee, they attack both by poisonous bite, saving throw applicable, and constriction. If a constriction attack succeeds, the victim takes 2 to 8 hit points of damage that melee round and each round thereafter until one or the other is killed. Coatl are psionically aware and have 2 major and 4 minor disciplines with commensurate attack and defense modes. Coatl speak several human languages and most serpent and avian languages as well. Crab. Giant. I cannot help but laugh every single time I see a crab walk. Giant crabs are found in any area near water of any sort. They operate equally well on land or in water, always seeking to find something to eat. Their eyes, being on stalks, can peer over ledges or around corners with ease. They tend to hide and rush forth to seize their prey. Surprise on a 1 to 4 on a 6-sided die. Jeez. That's crazy. Crayfish. We call them crawfish here in Utah. Giant. These strange monsters are found only in fresh water. They move slowly when walking, but they can swim with great rapidity for short periods. Like giant crabs, giant crayfish hide in order to rush out and seize their prey. Surprise on a 1 to 3 on a 6-sided die. How big is this? 8 feet plus long? Oh my gosh. Wow, the crab are 4+ feet diameter. Jeez, those are huge. Crocodile, normal and giant. Although some of these reptiles are of giant size, some monsters are typically found only in salt water or in prehistoric settings. All crocodiles are stupid and voracious eaters. Stupid eaters and voracious eaters, or just stupid? and also voracious eaters. They are sluggish in cold weather, cut movement 50%. They typically lie in concealment in order to surprise prey, surprise on 1 to 3 on a 6-sided die. Oh yeah. Demons. Each type of demon, and especially the high-level demon lords and princes, have many unusual characteristics and extraordinary abilities. Characteristics and abilities which are common to all demons are covered here. See the individual treatment of each demon for specific information. Demons are able to move from their own plane to those of Tartarus, Hades, or Pandemonium, or roam the astral plane. However, they cannot enter the material plane without aid, conjuration, gate, or by name speaking or similar means. Demons are chaotic and evil. The smarter and stronger rule those of the kind who are weaker and less intelligent. The less intelligent will attack without question and fight until slain. Demons of type 5 and above are not actually slain when their material form is killed in combat. Their material form being removed from their use, the demon in question is thereby forced back to the plane from whence it originally came, there to remain until a century has passed or until another aids it to go forth again. However, if demons are encountered on their own plane, they can be slain. No demon can ever be subdued. All are able to divide their attacks amongst 2 or even 3 opponents if their means allow. Demons will never willingly serve anyone or anything. If forced to serve through magic or threat, they will continually seek a way to slay their master or captor. Those to whom demons show a liking are typically carried off to the demon's plane to become a slave, although a favored one. Note that demons can be summoned by characters of any alignment, but controlling a demon is another matter entirely. A thaumaturgic circle will serve to keep out demons of types 1 through 5. A special pentacle is required for demons of type 6 or greater. The threat or reward which the conjuring party uses to attempt gaining a demon's service must be carefully handled by the dungeon master. Demons are repelled by holy, good relics or artifacts. Demons' amulet. Demon lords and princes maintain their vital essences in small containers. Their souls, so to speak, are thus at once protected and yet vulnerable. If some enterprising character should gain the amulet, demons with amulets are able to magic jar once per day. Demons' amulets cannot be detected as such by any magical means, and they do not otherwise appear unusual in any way. The device need not be the most powerful princes, although the lesser demons typically need to carry theirs on or near their persons. Possession of an amulet gives the possessor power over the demon to whom it belongs for the space of, for example, 1 adventure and never more than a day, 24 hours. The amulet must then be returned to the demon, or it can be destroyed and thus condemn the prince to abyssment for a year, and abyssal basement, and he may return thereafter only if summoned. Use of the amulet is very, very dangerous. Possession of one will double chances of calling the attention of another demon, and any demon not controlled by the device will immediately attack the person possessing such an amulet. If the amulet leaves the hand of one commanding the demon to whom it belongs, that demon attacks him in his most effective fashion immediately, attempting his utmost to slay and then to carry all that remains to his own domain, i.e., that character is lost and gone forever. On the positive side, however, if the wielder of the amulet carefully repays the demon for aid rendered, adds a considerable sum for having the temerity to dare to command the demon in the first place, and then carefully restores the amulet to the demon, the prince might not bear him a grudge forever afterwards, nor seek to hunt him out whenever possible. Demons frequently roam the astral and ethereal planes. Their attention is also attracted by persons in an ethereal state. If the name of a particular powerful demon is spoken, there is a chance that he will hear and turn his attention to the speaker. A base 5% chance is recommended to the referee. Unless prepared to avoid such attention or to control the demon will thereupon immediately kill by whatever means are most expeditious the one pronouncing his name. If demon types 1 through 6 are encountered in lair, there will be 1 to 6 of the same type 75% of the time, and 1 to 6 mixed types 1 through 6 25% of the time. In addition to the separate characteristic and abilities of each sort of demon, these monsters have the following in common. Types 1 through 3 are affected by non-magical weapons. Types 4 and greater are not affected by non-magical weapons. All demons have these abilities. Infravision, darkness, varies. Teleportation, no error. Gate, specifics vary. Demons are affected by the listed attack forms as noted below. Acid, full. Cold, half. Electric, lightning, half. Fire, dragon, magical, half. Gas, poisonous, etc., half. Iron weapon, full. Magic missile, full. Poison, full. Silver weapon, none. Unless affected by normal weapons, in which case damage will be according to the weapon type. Because they have a special form of telepathy, demons are able to understand every intelligent communication. Demons with average or better intelligence are likewise able to converse. Demogorgon, Prince of Demons. Rivalry between demon lords is great, but the enmity between Demogorgon and Orcus is immense and unending. Demogorgon is a terrible opponent. First, he possesses great powers in his two heads. Should he fix the gaze of both upon his enemy, he is able to hypnotize. This hypnosis will affect from 10 to 100 creatures of 1 to 3 hit dice, from 5 to 40 with 4 to 6 hit dice, from 3 to 24 with 7 to 9 hit dice, 2 to 12 with 10 to 12 hit dice, and from 1 to 4 with 13 or more hit die. Those over 15 hit dice, save versus magic, all others are automatically hypnotized. This hypnosis of the mass sort is limited in that victims are only under its influence for 1 turn, but that's 10 minutes. But during this time will follow most instructions absolutely. Self-destruction would not be heeded. And for from 1 to 6 turns afterward, will tend to believe or carry out the residual of the hypnosis. Demogorgon's left head has a gaze which has the effect of a rod of beguiling, and the gaze of his right head causes insanity for from 1 to 6 turns. When used independently in this manner, the potential victim or victims save versus magic to determine whether or not they avoided the eyes. Second, Demogorgon is able to lash his forked tail, striking with it as a whip-like weapon. Its touch causes energy drain from 1 to 4 levels, the tail striking as a flail for hit determination. Third, his tentacles are also deadly weapons, each causing 1 to 6 points of damage to any opponent, but those opponents which are of lesser stature, particularly those hailing from the material plane such as humans, dwarves, elves, etc., will be subject to rot. A limb... am I on the same person? Yeah. A limb becomes useless in 6 melee rounds and drops off in another 6. The body sustains damage, which permanently removes 25% of the person's hit points in 6 melee rounds, cumulative per hit. Cure disease made with the 6 melee round limit will save the member so that it will heal in 1 to 4 weeks, and body hits will be restored entirely if the cure is made within 6 melee rounds after the hit. Whenever desiring to do so, Demogorgon uses any one of the following powers: cast Continual Darkness, Charm Person, Create Illusion as an illusion wand, Cause Fear as a wand of that ilk, Levitate as a 16th level magic user, Detect Magic, Read Languages, Detect Invisible Objects, ESP, Dispel Magic, Clairvoyance, Use Clairaudience, Suggest, Water Breathe, Polymorph Self, Wall of Ice, Charm Monster, Telekinesis, 7,000 gold piece weight with each of his 2 heads, or with but 1, cast a Feeble Mind spell once per day, project an image, use power word stun once per day, use any symbol once per day, turn sticks to snakes, and gate in other demons, 85% chance of success, 50% chance for type 1 through 4, 50% chance of gating in a type 5 or 6. Description. It is contended by some that this demon prince is supreme, and in any event, he is awesome in his power. This gigantic demon is 18 feet tall and reptilian. Demogorgon has 2 heads which bear the visages of evil baboons, or perhaps mandrills, with the hideous coloration of the latter named beasts. His blue-green skin is plated with snake-like scales. His body and legs are those of a giant lizard, his twin necks resemble snakes, and his thick tail is forked. Rather than having arms, he has great tentacles. His appearance testifies to his command of cold-blooded things, such as serpents, reptiles, and octopi. Jubilex, the Faceless Lord. I imagine he sounds like... There is no question that this is the most disgusting and loathsome of all demons. Jubilex is foul and nauseating in the extreme. His dripping form can lash forward in melee to cause terrible damage, both from the force of his blow and the caustic properties of his noisome secretions. Jubilex is reclusive and hates intrusion by any form of normal creature, but surrounds his person with slimes, jellies, and puddings. If encountered in his lair, there will be from 1 to 4 green slimes, 2 to 4 ochre jellies, 1 to 4 gray oozes, and 1 to 4 black puddings. He is similarly stunned by other demons and other creatures. Shunned, I should say. Jubilex is able to shed a circle of darkness, 15-foot radius, at will. He can also cause fear as a fear wand, cast a circle of cold, 10-foot radius, and generate a 2 hit point per melee round. This demon lord is also able to do any one of the following during a melee round: detect invisible, locate object, ESP, fly, dispel magic, invisibility, 10-foot radius, charm monster, hold monster, telekinesis, 15,000 gold piece weight, project image, phase door, putrefy food and water, cause disease, speak with monsters, speak an unholy word once per day, and gate in 1 to 4 type 2 demons, 70% chance of success. He's also able to spew forth a jelly-like slime, combining the effects of an ochre jelly and green slime, once per turn, every 10 melee rounds, with a 15-foot range and a blob size of 3 cubic feet. Description: Jubilex has no set form. He can spread himself into a vast pool of slime or raise up into a towering column of disgusting order 18 feet or more in height, but he usually takes the form of a 9-foot tall cone-like heap, striated to disgusting blackish greens, foul browns, and yellows, and sickly translucent grays and ambers. From this mass protrude several glaring red eyes. Manes, subdemon. Those dead which go to the 666 layers of the demonic abyss become manes. The most evil of them are confined in the tiers of flames of Gehenna. They are only semi-intelligent and attack any non-demon with nails and teeth. Killing them simply dissipates them into stinking clouds of vapor which reform into manes in 1 day. Demon lords and princes sometimes feed upon these creatures, destroying them utterly, treat them as undead with regard to sleep, charm, and similar spells. Certain manes will be used to form shadows or ghasts, depending upon the greatness of the evil in material life. They can also be sent forth by a lord or prince to exist on the material plane for a day. These are typically those from Gehenna. Orcus, prince of the undead. It is probable that this creature is one of the most powerful and strongest of all demons. If he so much as slaps with his open hand, the blow causes 1 to 4 hit points of damage. His terrible fists can deliver blows of 3 to 13 hit points. If he uses a weapon, he strikes with a bonus of +6 to hit and +8 on damage. Additionally, his tail has a virulent poison sting, -4 on all saving throws against its poison, and his tail strikes with an 18 dexterity, which does 2 to 8 hit points each time it hits. Orcus can, at will, use any one of the following powers: cast Continual Darkness, charm person, create illusion as the wand of that kind, cause fear as a fear wand, detect magic, read languages, detect invisible objects, ESP, cause pyrotechnics, dispel magic, clairvoy, use clairaudience, cast a 12-die lightning bolt, suggest polymorph self, create a wall of fire, telekinesis, 12,000 gold piece weight, animate dead as a 19th level magic user, cast a feeble mind spell once per day, project image, use any one of the symbols once per day each, polymorph any object, shape change, time stop once per day, and has an 80% chance of gating in any demon type of 1 to 5, but only a 50% chance of gating type 5 or 6, and will never call upon another prince. Orcus can speak with the dead as a 20th level cleric. Orcus, furthermore, is able to summon certain of the undead, for he is their prince. If random calling is desired by the referee, the following chart is suggested. 1. 4 to 48 skeletons. 2. 4 to 32 zombies. 3. 4 to 24 shadows. 4. 2 to 8 vampires. Finally, Orcus holds the Wand of Death, Orcus's wand, which is a rod of obsidian topped by a skull. This instrument causes death or annihilation to any creature, save those of like status, other princes or devils, saints, godlings, etc., merely by touching their flesh. Other powers of this device are rumored amongst mortals are dealt with in another book. Description: Orcus is a grossly fat demon lord, some 15 feet tall. His huge gray body is covered with goatish hair, and his head is goat-like, although his horns are similar to those of a ram. His great legs are also goat-like, but his arms are human. Vast bat wings sprout from his back, and his long, snaky tail is tipped with a poisonous head. Hey, Michael, how you doing? What's up north of the Rockies? Chris, how you doing, man? Succubus. Let me just say, this image really affected a young Adam. I'm just putting it out there. Those female demons are usually not found in numbers, for they prefer to act alone. A succubus in its natural form appears very much like a tall and very beautiful human female, although the bat-like wings immediately show the observer its true character. Succubi cannot be harmed by any sort of normal weaponry. Succubus can cause darkness in a 5-foot radius. The kiss of the succubus drains the victim of 1 energy level, and all succubi are able to perform any one of the following feats at will: become ethereal, as if using the oil of that name; charm person, ESP, clairaudience, suggestion as the spell; shape change to any humanoid form of approximately their own height and weight only; or gate in any type 4, 70% chance, type 6, 25% chance, or one of the lords or princes, 5% chance. There is only a 40% chance of such a gate opening, however. Succubi rule lower demons through wit and threat. Type 1. Vrock. These are among the weakest of their kind. Type 1 demons somewhat resemble a cross between a human and a vulture. Strength is standard. They may be struck with normal missiles and by normal weapons. Darkness caused by them is typical 5-foot radius sort. In addition, these demons have the ability to do any one of the following, one at a time, at will: detect invisible objects, telekinesis, 2,000 gold piece weight, gate in another type 1 demon, 10% chance of success. These creatures are very fond of the flesh of the human sort, and they always prize precious metals and stones. Because of their stupidity, they are not very prone to listen to bribe offers. Type 2. Hezrau. The next most common type of demon, these foul creatures, are a foot shorter than the tall type 1 sort, looking somewhat like a gross toad with arms in place of forelegs. These demons can be struck by normal weapons or missiles. The darkness that cause at will is of the variety which covers a 15-foot radius. These sorts of additional abilities can be performed by these demons one at a time at will: cause fear as a fear wand, levitate as an 8th level magic user, detect invisible objects, telekinesis, 3,000 gold piece weight, gate in another type 2 demon, 20% chance of success. Type 2 demons are like type 1 with regard to their abilities. Note that either sort will gladly fight the other for any reason whatsoever. Type 3. Glabrazu. Towering to well over 9 feet in height, this not unusual kind of demon has a ghastly appearance, being broad and strong-looking, covered with a wrinkled hide, with a head much like a goat-horned dog, pincers instead of normal hands, and a small pair of human arms protruding from its chest. Normal attacks will affect this demon type. It causes darkness in a 10-foot radius when it so wills. Additional abilities, any one of which can be performed at will, are fear as a fear wand, levitate as a 10th level magic user, cause pyrotechnics, polymorph self, telekinesis, 4,000 gold piece weight, gate in another demon of types 1 through 3, roll for which type, 30% chance of success. The Wand of Orcus, look at that. Type 4, Nalfeshni, etc. These demons combine the worst features of an ape and a boar, and their small wings appear unable to bear their ponderous 10-foot tall bodies. Unlike lower sorts of demons, Type 4 can be hit only by weapons and missiles of the magical sort. Much as Type 3, these demons cause darkness in a 10-foot radius at will. They have these other abilities which can be employed once per melee round: create illusion, similar to that from an illusion wand; cause fear as a fear wand; levitate as a 12th level magic user; detect magic, read languages, dispel magic, polymorph self, telekinesis, 5,000 gold piece weight value; project image, use a symbol of fear or discord; and gate in a demon of type 1 through 4, dice for which sort, 60% chance. Some Type 4 demons have names, and these can be spoken with if the conjuring party knows the proper one to say. These will make it 90% certain a demon will listen to offers of great rewards for some small service. These demons are also fond of human flesh and blood. Aren't we all? Type 5, Merilith, etc. Awesome. Another of the female demons with a multi-armed female torso atop the body of a great snake. Type 5 demons are taller than a large man and far more terrible. Their 6 arms are all able to use weapons. The favored weapons are swords and battle axes. They can constrict a victim with their snaky tails as well. When desiring to do so, they cause darkness in a 5-foot radius. Other extraordinary abilities, as one of which can be performed as desired, are Charm Person, Levitate as an 11th level magic user, Read Languages, Detect Invisible Object, Cause Pyrotechnics, Polymorph Self, Project Image, and Gate in a Type 1, 30% chance, Type 2, 25% chance, Type 3, 15% chance, Type 4, 15% chance, and Type 6, 10% chance, or one of the Lords or Princes, 5%, but the chance of success opening such a gate is a mere 50%. Lower level demons greatly fear the domineering and cruel Type 5 demons. All of these creatures have names which can be used to aid in negotiations. Demons of this type are likely to desire the sacrifice of strong warriors to them. Type 6, Baylor, etc. Does that remind you of a Balrog? Type 6 demons? I always think of Balrog when I see these things. It's awesome. You shall not pass. Each Type 6 demon has its own name. Baylor is a Type 6 demon of the largest size. 6 are known to exist. The favored weapons of these monsters are a large +1 sword and a whip with many tails. The latter weapon is employed to drag the opponent into the flames which the demon are able to create around themselves. During any combat, there is a 2/3 chance, 1 to 4 on a 6-sided die, each melee round that any Type 6 demon will immolate and use its whip. The 2 largest of these demons do 4 to 24 hit points of damage when a victim is drawn within their flames. The middle size and smallest do 3 to 18 and 2 to 12 respectively. They shed darkness in a 10-foot radius at will. Their other singular abilities are Cause Fear as a fear wand, Detect Magic, Read Languages, Detect Invisible Objects, Cause Pyrotechnics, Dispel Magic, Suggestion, Telekinesis, 6,000 gold piece weight, use a symbol of fear, discord, sleep, or stunning, and they also have a 70% chance of successfully gating in a demon of Type 3, 80%, or Type 4, 20%. Each of these terrible abilities can be employed as often as desired, but only one may be used at any given time. With proper invoking, offerings, and promises, Type 6 demons might be convinced to cooperate with the character or group for a time. Naturally, the demon will attempt to usurp command at every opportunity. Most chaotic evil monsters are drawn to the strong evil charisma of this creature, and of all of its kind, the Type 6 demon tends toward a more organized evil, which makes it less than popular with demon lords and princes. Yinogu, Demon Lord of Knolls. Among the ranks of demon princes, Yinogu is one of the most powerful and most feared. There will normally be 66 gnolls of the strongest sort, 14 to 16 hit points each, in attendance upon Yinogu, and if he's alone, he can summon from 6 to 66 in one turn. See what he did there? As this demon prince also receives homage from the king of ghouls, he can similarly summon from 6 to 16 ghouls, if he so desires. He typically carries his dreaded flail, a weapon 7 feet long, with 3 chains of adamantite, each bearing a spiked ball, which he strikes with this weapon. Each of the balls is rolled for to determine if it scored a hit, for each does different things. First, scores 3 to 18 hit points of damage. Second, if a hit is scored, the saving throw versus wands must be made or the victim is paralyzed. Third, if a hit is scored, the saving throw versus magic must be made or the victim is confused as per the spell. Yinogu speaks all of the giant class languages as well as the common tongue. He can also telepathically project his speech into any single creature, but he cannot thereby influence them other than by the persuasiveness of his speech. He sees into the ethereal and astral planes. Yinogu is able to use any of the following magical powers, one per melee round, darkness, 10-foot radius, magic missile, 3 per day, 6 missiles per cast, each doing 2 to 8 points of damage and having a +2 to hit. Detect Magic, read magic, read languages, detect invisible objects, invisibility, fly, hold person, dispel magic equal to a 20th level magic user, suggestion, polymorph self, fear as a fear wand, teleport, telekinesis, 10,000 gold piece weight, transmute rock to mud, mass charm, and gate in type 1 demons, 1 per day, 80% chance, 4 from 2 to 5. Description. Yinogu resembles a human in general form, but only at first glance. His head is that of a hyena. His chest is canine in form. His hands are paw-like, and his feet are pawed. Yinogu is thin to the point of being skeletal, and his only body hair is a mangy crest of putrid yellow from his head to his mid-back. Yinogu's skin is a dead gray in color, and it is smooth. His eyes are lambent amber and large. Devil. The inhabitants and rulers of the plains of hell are principally devils, the most powerful of lawful evil creatures. They somewhat resemble the demons of chaos in their characteristics and abilities, and general attributes will be dealt with below, while specifics pertaining to each individual type or archdevil are given in the category or naming detailed listings. Devils follow a definite order, a chain of command, which they dare not break for fear of the archdevils. Still, there is a great rivalry, even open antagonism between the devils of various planes and between the various archdevils. While the lesser devils squabble, the dukes of hell vie to usurp the throne of Asmodeus. But the archfiend has... Do you guys say Asmodeus or Asmodeus? But the archfiend has always succeeded in playing one off against the other, and still rules from his lowest plane. All devils are able to move about the planes of hell, although they dare not do so without authorization, save for the dukes. They can move to the planes of Gehenna, Hades, and Acheron at will. Devils can also move through the astral plane, although they seldom do so. No devil is able to enter the other planes unless the proper ritual is performed, a gate is opened, or the proper name of a devil is spoken and heard. It is possible to destroy the material form of a greater devil or duke of hell, but such creatures cannot actually be slain unless encountered and fought in hell, or those lower planes adjacent to it. Devils can never be subdued. The lesser ones are always fight until destroyed. The greater ones will negotiate if seriously threatened. Devils will serve if properly commanded, but it is risky business, for an impromptu command will break the law which binds them to service. It also typically requires a contract for the soul of the creature commanding the infernal power to obey. It is possible for other than lawful evil persons to invoke or otherwise treat with devils, but the long spoon oft spoken of had better be used when supping with such monsters. Magic circles will keep devils off for a time if they're properly scribed and ensymboled in the case of a greater and archdevils. Devils are repelled by holy good artifacts or relics. All devils can direct their attacks against 2 or more opponents if the means are at hand. If a greater devil has its material form destroyed, it is forced to lemure status for 9 decades of torment before it resumes its former station. If the material form of a duke is destroyed, that archdevil is bound to its own particular plane of hell for a decade, unless again properly called forth prior to the end of the 10 years, and a great loss of face is suffered, and fury in hell is unmatched then. Devil's talismans. Each type of lesser devil has a special combination of inscriptions which will bind them to the wielder for the space of 9 days, or at least prevent the devils of that type from harming the possessor. Greater devils can likewise be commanded for 9 hours or kept at bay. Archdevils' talismans will cause them to perform a single service or prevent the bearer from being harmed by a particular Duke of Hell when properly used. The employment of any devil's talisman requires great care and caution. Human sacrifice is required for evil creatures using a talisman. Merely looking at these talismans is dangerous if not properly protected by spells or a magic circle. Studying of a charm gives a 10% chance of summoning the kind or specific devil to whom the talisman belongs. Speaking the name on the talisman will always call forth the kind of specific devil. Archdevils will always be aware of improperly protected talismans, and they will send something to slay persons in possession of them if the talisman pertain to them or their planes. General characteristics. Only araignées, barbed devils, and bone devils can be hit by non-magical weapons. The greater devils, Malebranche, ice devils, and pit fiends can be struck by magical weapons or weapons of silver, but ordinary arms do them no harm. All devils have or are able to perform the following: charm person, suggestion, illusion, infravision, teleportation, no error, no alignment, cause fear, effect varies, animate dead. Devils are able to summon their fellows, summon being similar to a monster summoning spell. Because they have a special form of telepathy, devils are able to understand and converse with any intelligent creature. Devils are affected by the listing attack forms as noted below: acid full, cold half, electric lightning full, fire dragon magical none, gas poisonous etc. half, iron weapon none, unless affected by normal weapons, in which case damage will be according to the weapon type. Magic missile full, poison full, silver weapon full. Asmodeus, Archdevil. Politics of Hell was a great dragon article. Ooh, I'm going to have to look that up. Asmodeus, Archfiend, the overlord of all the Dukes of Hell, rules by both might and wit. He is physically stronger than any other devil, as strong as a storm giant, and the most cunning and artful. His mighty palace rests upon the floor of the lowest rift in Hell's ninth plane. His servitors are pit fiends, and whichever of the other lesser and greater devils he commands to service. Once per year he can command the archdevils to attend his court and pay homage. The powers possessed by Asmodeus, which are usable at will, once per turn or melee round, are: pyrotechnics, produce flame, wall of fire, ice storm, wall of ice, continual light, read languages, read magic, detect invisible, locate object, invisibility, detect magic, hold person, hold monster, shape change, beguile, rulership, mass charm, geese, restoration, raise dead fully, or fulfill another's wish. Asmodeus can use the following powers once per day: symbol of pain, symbol of insanity, symbol of hopelessness, save versus magic or submit to Asmodeus' will, unholy word. He can always summon 2 lesser or 1 greater devil. The gaze of his archfiend causes fear, fear and weakness, or chill, slow 50% and -5 on all dice rolls, at his option. Saving throw versus magic applies. Asmodeus has a glowing rod of pure ruby. It acts as a rod of absorption. It also causes serious wounds on anyone touched by its opaline tip. Upon commanding, it will shoot forth a cone of frost, a jet of acid, or a bolt of lightning, all according to the appropriate dragon breath type. The value of this instrument is 1,000,000 gold pieces, considering the gem qualities only. Description: there can be no question that Asmodeus is the most handsome of all devils, as well as being the strongest and most cunning. The ultimate evil he represents can be seen in his beauty only when he so wills, or if he forgets himself and flies into a rage. Baalzebul, Archdevil. The 6th and 7th planes of Hell, Malbolge and Maladamini, respectively, are ruled by Baalzebul, Lord of the Flies. Lies? He is an archdevil of great power, second only to Asmodeus. Malbolge is a black stone plain filled with stinking vapors, smokes, fire pits, and huge caves and caverns. Maladamini is similar, but there will be found the moated castles of Malebranche and the great fortress of Baalzebul. This archdevil can employ any one of the following powers, one at a time, as desired, during a turn or melee round, as applicable: pyrotechnics, produce flame, wall of fire, continual light, read languages, read magic, detect invisible, locate object, invisibility, dispel magic, shape change, beguile, rulership, as rod of rulership, hold person, charm person, geese, restoration, raise dead, fully fulfill another's wish. Once per day, Baalzebul can use symbol of pain, symbol of insanity, unholy word. He can always summon 1 to 4 horned devils. His glance causes fear and weakness, saving throw versus magic, or collapse in trembling until 1 to 4 melee rounds after the gaze is lifted, whenever he directly stares at any person. Barbed, lesser devil. Barbed devils populate the 3rd and 4th planes of Hell. They are excellent guards and alert at all times, never surprised. Unauthorized creatures are immediately cast into one of the many cells to be tormented. While these monsters carry no weapons, they have sufficient weaponry with their horny, barbed hands and horrid tails. They are able to regenerate fear, saving throw versus wand is applicable, use upon striking opponent, Barbed devils can perform any of the following one at a time per turn or melee round as applicable. Pyrotechnics, produce flame, hold person, or summon another barbed devil. 30% chance of success. Bone, lesser devil. Bone devils populate the lower planes of hell, particularly the fifth. They are particularly malicious and delight in making less powerful creatures suffer. As they prefer cold to heat, these monsters also have ultravision, seeing light in the ultraviolet spectrum at 60-foot range. Bone devils have a great bone hook they employ to snare and wound opponents. Any creature caught hit by it has a 50% chance of being struck fast. The bone devil will then strike such victim with its tail, doing 2 to 8 hit points of damage, plus causing a loss of strength, 1 to 4 points, unless a save versus poison is made. Strength loss lasts for 10 melee rounds. At will, once per turn or melee round as applicable, bone devils can generate fear in a 5-foot radius sphere, create illusion, fly, become invisible, detect invisible, fear, spell, or summon another bone devil. 40% chance of success. Once per day, it is able to cast a wall of ice. Dispater, archdevil. Dispater is the ruler of Hell's second plane. His capital is the Iron City of Dis, named after the whole of the plane. Dispater's palace there is infernally grand. The city is filled with zombies, arañes, and a sprinkling of barbed devils and malabranche. The following powers are possible at will for Dispater, once at a time per turn or melee round as applicable. Pyrotechnics, produce flame, wall of fire, light, read magic, read languages, detect invisible, shape change, beguile, geese, restoration, raise dead fully, fulfill another's wish. He can summon 1 to 3 arañes, 75% or 25% a pit fiend, 90% chance of success. Once per day, Dispater can employ a symbol of pain. He can also pronounce an unholy word once per day. His stare causes fear or chill in all persons who fail their saving throws versus magic. Description: Dispater is evilly handsome, and only his small horns, tail, and cloven left hoof distinguish him from humanity. He has a rod, which has the powers of a rod of rulership, and a double-strength staff of striking, 4 to 24 hit points of damage. Left hoof? What's his right foot? Is his right foot a regular foot? How weird is that? All right. Arañes, lesser devil. I don't even know if I'm pronouncing that right. The Arañes are the devils common to Hell's second plane, as well as the kind most common sent forth to garner more souls. Yes, please. They are female, but can appear as males. They're armed with a magical dagger, which drips a caustic venom and causes terribly painful wounds, save versus poison, or faint for 1 to 6 melee rounds. They also carry a rope of entanglement with which to bind their victims. Arañes can be struck with normal weapons. They can at will cause fear in all who look at them. Saving throw versus wand is applicable. In addition, they have the power to do any one of the following during any turn or melee round as applicable: detect invisible, locate object, invisibility, polymorph self, produce flame, or summon another Arañes. 25% chance of success. Arañes are strong, 1801, but no hit damage bonuses are applicable. They will pursue evil persons unceasingly in order to take them alive into hell. They will sometimes bargain with others, hoping to tempt them into evil doing. Cool. Garion, archdevil. Sometimes referred to as the wild beast. Garion is the gigantic ruler of the fifth plane of hell. This archdevil is as powerful as a storm giant, and he loves to grab his opponents and rend them with his claws while stabbing them with a... what? Stabbing them with his terrible poisonous tail? Save versus poison at -4 on the die. Garion dwells in a huge castle in the very middle of the plane and seldom ventures forth. Garion is able to use any of the following powers at will, once per melee round or turn as applicable: Ice Storm, Wall of Ice, Light, Read Languages, Read Magic, Detect Invisible, Locate Object, Detect Magic, Invisibility, Shape Change, Beguile, Geese, Raise Dead fully, Fulfill Another's Wish. Once per day, Garion can use a symbol of pain. He's likewise able to pronounce an unholy word. He can summon 1 to 2 bone devils, 60%, or 40% an ice devil, 95% chance of success. Garion's glare will cause fear in all those who he directs it upon. Saving throw versus magic applicable. Garion has a great bull's horn, which he can wind It brings forth 5 to 20 minotaurs. These monsters will obey to the death. The horn can be blown but once per week. Description: a handsome head and torso sit atop Garion's snaky trunk. This archdevil has no legs, but travels in a snake-like mode along the ground. He has huge bat wings, his tail is barbed and drips poison. Garion's arms are strong and hairy, ending in paw-like hands. Horned Malebranche, Greater Devil. The evil horns, male branch, are primarily from Hell's 6th and 7th planes. They are the least of the greater devils and have such names as Dogrech, Evil Tail, and Bent Wing. They hate anything stronger than themselves and fear stronger devils accordingly. If armed, they will carry a 2-tinned fork, 75%, which causes 2 to 12 points of damage, or a barbed whip, 25%, which will cause 1 to 4 points of damage, plus a stunning effect for the same number of melee rounds until a saving throw versus magic is made. An unarmed horned devil attacks with a claw bite. Armed or unarmed, these devils are also able to attack with their tail, causing 1 to 3 points of damage and a wound which will bleed thereafter unless bound up. Lose 1 hit point per turn until bound or cured. They exude fear in a 5-foot radius. Saving throw versus wand applies. Horned devils can do any one of the following at will, once per turn, or melee round as applicable. Pyrotechnics, produce flame, ESP, detect magic, illusion, or summon another horned devil, 50% chance of success. Once per day, they can create a wall of fire of triple normal strength with regard to the damage it causes, 3 to 24 hit points. Ice, Greater Devil. This reminds me of Majare's avatar form from the Dark Disciple trilogy. The frigid 8th plane of Hell is populated in the main with ice devils. They are greater devils in every sense of the word, preferring to attack and torment victims by means of their claws, mandibles, and tails. A few, 25%, carry great spears which inflict 2 to 12 hit points of damage and numb with cold the creature thus struck. Slow, 50%, unless save versus paralyzation is made. Being greater devils, they have personal names. Ice devils can do any one of the following at will, once per turn or melee round as applicable. Fly, wall of ice, detect magic, detect invisibility, polymorph self, or gate in 2 bone devils, 70% chance, or another ice devil, 30% chance, 65% chance of success. Once per day, an ice devil can cause an ice storm, as per that spell. These creatures have ultra vision, 60 feet, and are able to regenerate 1 hit point per melee round and a grasping strength of 1876. They radiate fear in a 10-foot radius. Saving throw versus wand applies. Lemure. The Lemure are the form which the dead whom inhabit the 9 hells are put in. These vaguely human blobs are then tormented by devils. Their minds are quite gone, and they will attack anything non-devilish which they see. Lemures regenerate at a rate of 1 hit point per melee round, so they are not usually destroyed by the wounds inflicted on them by their environment or by the devils filling it. Those wretched things can be destroyed permanently only by blessed things, holy water, holy swords, etc. They are not subject to any form of sleep charm or the like. After being in hell for a time, certain lemures will be chosen to form wraiths or specters. Pit Fiend, Greater Devil. The lowest plane of hell is the home of the dreaded Pit Fiend, a devil of great power. They possess a terrible strength and the most evil nature. All Pit Fiends have personal names. They are the personal servants of Asmodeus. Each typically carries an Ancus-like weapon and a jagged-toothed club, and all can strike with both in a melee round. Pit Fiends are able to perform any of the following at will, once per turn, or melee round as applicable. Pyrotechnics, produce flame, wall of fire, detect magic, detect invisible, polymorph self, hold person, or gate in 1 to 3 barbed devils, 60%, or another Pit Fiend, 70% chance of success. Once per day, and a Pit Fiend can use a symbol of pain, save versus magic, or suffer -4 on attack rolls to hit and -2 on dexterity for 2 to 20 melee rounds. They shed fear in a 20-foot radius, save versus magic as applicable. All Pit Fiends have a strength of 1800. They regenerate a 2 hit point per melee round. If they strike with their tail and score a hit, the opponent is held with 2 to 8 hit points of constriction damage per turn. Dinosaur. Dinosaurs are reptiles, their name being derived from the Greek terrible lizard, descended from a variety of the species called Thacodonts. The 2 orders of dinosaurs are Saurischians and Ornithicans, which I pronounced perfectly. All carnivorous dinosaurs fall into the former order. All armored and or horned dinosaurs fall into the latter order. Because of the nature, anyone who's into dinosaurs, tell me if any of this is true at all. Because of the nature of the time in planes where magic works, dinosaurs widely separate in time are discussed hereunder, for they can be found intermingled on some alternate world, strange plane, or isolated continent somewhere. Great detail will not be given to any one kind, but all major forms are depicted. It must be borne in mind that all of these reptiles are extremely stupid. Their motivation is primarily hunger. The predatory types are both ferocious and voracious. The herbivorous dinosaurs are likewise insatiable eaters, but they tend to either ignore all non-eatable things, which do not appear to threaten them, or flee in panic from anything which they view as dangerous. Certain plant eaters, however, are aggressive in their nature, and these sorts are dangerous, notably Stegosaurus, Ankylosaurus, and Ceratopsians. Marine dinosaurs might overturn vessels to get at the food aboard, or they might snatch unsuspecting creatures from the decks of passing ships. Land carnivores will pursue anything that looks or smells edible, only ceasing pursuit when the prey has obviously moved completely out of their grasp. Herbivorous dinosaurs' herds might stampede in virtually any direction, as long as it is away from one of the big meat eaters. Any creature directly in the path of such a stampede will be carried along or killed, the latter if smaller, slower, and weaker. Anatosaurus, Trachodon. These are duck-billed dinosaurs of the plant-eating sort. They run from attack. Their only defense is by a lashing tail. Ankylosaurus. This armadillo-like ornithischian weighs 4 to 5 tons, most of this weight being his armor plating, side spines, and great knobbed tail. If attacked or threatened, this creature will lash its tail, delivering blows of considerable force. They are herbivores of the same family as Paleocinus. I don't know. I feel like I'm pronouncing all of these wrong. Antrodemus Allosaurus, or Allosaurus. One of the most vicious of predators, this monster can run across hard ground at great speed. Apatosaurus, Brontosaurus. The thunder lizard is a 40-ton plant eater found near marshes and lakes. The creature spends much of his time in shallow water to support his bulk. It moves in deep water to avoid carnivores. Apatosaurus ignores small things, but it is prone to step on anything in its way, doing 4 to 40 points of damage. Archelon ischiros. These are reptiles but not dinosaurs. These marine turtles seldom venture onto dry land. Archelon's shell is not solid, but it is nevertheless very strong. Brachiosaurus. The heaviest of all dinosaurs, these 85-ton monsters dwell in warm swamps and lakes. Similar to Apatosaurus, they might step on something small, causing 8 to 80 points of damage. Camarasaurus, I guess. These marsh or swamp-dwelling herbivores are smallish for their type. They panic more easily than do Apatosaurus. For example, stepping or trampling damages 3 to 30 hit points. Ceratosaurus. These smallish, small bipedal monsters are both heavy and fast. This carnivore is unusual in that it has a horn on its nose, but it does not use it for attacking, just for scratching its armpit. I added the last part. Cetiosaurus. These huge plant eaters dwell in lakes and marshes. Their heads are somewhat larger than similar reptiles, Apatosaurus, etc. If they step on some small things, such as a human, for example, they do 4 to 40 points of damage. Deinonychthys. Deinonychthys are not actually dinosaurs, but huge prehistoric fish. Terrible fish. Its huge mouth can swallow man-sized prey on a score of 20. Diplodocus. This dinosaur is another semi-aquatic type which eats water plants. It is able to submerge its body into a bottom depth of 30 feet or so and still breathe easily. If it steps on any small object, it causes 3 to 30 points of damage. All right, we are going to end there on the dinosaurs. That is it for this episode of Gaming Advanced Dungeons and Dragons. What do you think of the monsters covered? Do you have a favorite monster in the collection? Feel free to email me at info@dlsaga.com or leave a comment below. I would like to take a moment and remind you to subscribe to this YouTube channel, ring the bell to get notified about upcoming videos, and click the like button. This all goes to help other Dragonlance fans learn about this channel and its content. Thank you to creator patrons Aaron Hardy and D. Robert Handy, developer patrons Chris Androu and Sam Ruiz, and all of the YouTube members. This channel is all about celebrating the wonderful world of the Dragonlance Saga, and I hope you'll join the celebration. Thank you for watching. This has been Adam with Dragonlance Saga, and until next time, Slàinte mhath.